Hello everyone, this is NUSensei. In 2016, I ran a competition in which I invited archers from around the world to share their archery stories, highlighting their struggles and their successes. 3 winners were selected and each received a shot trainer from Archery. Now that we are in a new year, I would like to take the opportunity to share the stories that represented the passion and inspiration of the archery journey. Our first story comes from our primary sponsor, Tyler Benner, founder of Archery and co-author of the book Total Archery Inside the Archer. Tyler was a natural at archery, training at a local private club in rural Pennsylvania, and later at Texas A&M University under US Olympic coach Frank Thomas. However, a bicycle accident resulted in a shattered shoulder. For 7 months, Tyler could not lift his arm over his head or exert any force. Tyler underwent surgery to remove part of his clavicle and reattach many ligaments. Tyler began shooting again barely 3 weeks after the surgery. 5 weeks later, he was competing at the 2004 College National Championships. With his skills developing again, he was able to pursue his archery goals and train with US coach Kisik Lee at the US Olympic Training Center in San Diego. In 2015, Tyler experienced another life-changing discovery after learning that his feet had become deformed due to narrow footwear, and spent the following years undergoing rehabilitation, relearning how to stand, walk, run, and shoot. Tyler continues to conduct seminars in teaching archery and has designed his own chairs for improved posture and comfort. Tyler loves transitions as an archer. He believes in embracing the beginner mindset and tackling the challenge of shooting as though it is all new. The challenge of archery has been getting to know mind and body and going through setbacks, wrong turns, and mistruths. Raymond started shooting 2 years ago. A riding accident in 2014 left both of his legs paralyzed. Unable to enjoy horse riding, he continued his archery exercises. With help from his physiotherapist, Raymond has been focusing on improving his back muscles, arm strength, and posture. He currently shoots using a stool for assistance and hopes to be able to stand straight enough to shoot without one. Tom from Mexico enjoys archery in a park with a group of friends. In a country with a minimum wage of $4 a day, bows like the Hoyt Buffalo are out of reach. Instead, Tom practices with his PVC bow and has made his own arrows and accessories. As a Christmas present, he bought himself a Jandau recurve. However, the park administrators banned the group from using the corner of the park to practice, and the group was only able to make an arrangement on the condition that they only use blunt arrows and PVC bows. Tom is aiming to save up enough money to buy a car so that he can drive out of town to find a safe place to shoot with his friends. Nicole is a high school senior with aspirations to make the national and Olympic teams. Over the past year, she has been training for the nationals using heavier limbs. However, she experienced increasingly severe shoulder problems, resulting in a numb, tingly feeling in her arm. She was diagnosed with shoulder separation, medial-scapular winging, and impingement. Impatient and terrified of losing the use of her shoulder in archery, Nicole maintained her commitment to the sport through the use of a mouth tab. This simple tool allowed her to go through her recovery period. She is now able to shoot again with both hands, though still fighting through pain on some occasions. Her scores have improved since, and she is now training for a national team qualifier event. After facing the daunting prospect of losing everything she had worked for, Nicole has learned that one's value does not lie in physical ability, and you can't let your circumstance define your reality. Chris began archery as a teenager, finding joy and thrill and wanting to compete, happy with his good results. However, during a school exercise, he fell from a trampoline and injured his shoulder. He was unable to lift even a pen without agonizing pain. In recent years, Chris has regained some use of his arm and dusted off his old broken bow. After returning to his training and picking up a new bow, Chris finished second in his club competition after a 10-year hiatus. Chris wonders why he even left archery in the first place, and now it has helped him recover his fitness and confidence. Chris's moral is that if you start to fall, pick yourself up and you'll be back on top. An injury may hinder a passion, but it should never destroy a dream. Y left Hong Kong to study in America. He was a passionate archer in Hong Kong, but found it difficult to maintain his training. His school had an underdeveloped archery team, and he did not have the means to seek further training. In a Skype conversation with his childhood friend, he was embarrassed to admit that he had dropped his archery career. Chastised by his friend and encouraged to take the opportunity while he could, Y was inspired to look further, finding a JOAD team and a retired Olympian to coach him. The lost time was crippling to Y's development, and he was unable to prepare enough for the state and national events he needed to make the national team. Y has since helped develop his school's archery team, helping his members obtain equipment and prepare for bigger events. Y's message is to persevere and be diligent in achieving goals. Zach picked up archery at YMCA Camp Ernst in Kentucky when he was 10 years old. He began working there in 2008 and, as part of his many exciting responsibilities, runs the archery program. He obtained a USA Archery certification to teach archery at camps, and through this he became inspired and motivated to develop his own learning. Using his instructor training as a foundation, Zach began to learn from many sources, reviewing videos online and bringing many questions to his archery shop whenever he has the chance. His biggest struggle was in learning not to imitate other people and instead find what is most comfortable for him. Above all, Zach is proud of being part of the archery community. In his words, Zach has never met such a friendly community of individuals. And now for the three main winners. Bao from Vietnam is a 17-year-old who has been obsessed with weapons. From a young age, he made bows using firewood and rubber bands with arrows made from straws. Since then, he has learned to craft PVC bows for himself and his friends. Using an arc welder from his father, Bao began to use steel in his designs. Since then, he has made a compound bow, a stabilizer system for his recurve, and a crossbow. His most recent bows show a very impressive level of craftsmanship. He has just started selling bows and is using the money to develop more affordable bows to spread through his country. Despite numerous failures, Bao has maintained his creative spirit. His message is to try more, and success will come. He hopes that archery will become cheaper, safer, and easier to access. Bob is a 78-year-old ex-serviceman who lost most of his sight in service. While undergoing rehabilitation, he was encouraged to try archery. Apart from overcoming his visual handicap, including the loss of the most useful sight in his right eye, Bob transitioned to shooting left-handed. He proudly maintains his archery equipment and makes his own strings. He acquires target distances by learning the number of clicks required to sight his optics, assisted by a 76-year-old wife, Lorna. Bob enjoys 18-meter indoor rounds and 14-meter field rounds with low-corn bowmen. In Bob's words, life does not get any better than this. Timo from Finland shares his experience as a parent raising his archery-obsessed 5-year-old daughter, Mette. Her love for archery was ignited by Princess Marita in Disney's Brave, and at 4 years of age, she was putting together bows using sticks and strings, and miniature bows for her Barbie dolls. She learned to shoot by looking at frames from Brave. Visiting the local archery club, Mette was by far the youngest archer. The instructors expressed doubts about her ability to safely shoot a bow, but when handed a 22-pound flat bow, she drew and anchored perfectly. For Timo, nurturing Mette's passion for archery has been a bonding experience. As a parent, he has found it challenging to involve his children in sports they can all enjoy equally. He has become involved in archery himself, taking him away from the chains of his desk job. In Timo's words, by Princess Marita makes me feel like a king. Congratulations to the 3 selected winners. Your stories were truly and uniquely inspiring. Thank you to everyone who came forward to share their struggles, and hopefully this inspires you to build on your goals and go further in your personal journeys.